I took only 18 aspirin before I stopped myself. I don't know why. I then sat in my room, huddled up in a fetal position and rocking back and forth, calmly repeating, to myself, to no one, I am going to kill myself. I am going to die. I am going to kill myself. I am going to die. Over and over. A mantra. I waited that way for an hour or so, then became convinced that the aspirin, a blood thinner, had probably kicked in. So I made the cuts as deep as I could and gritted my teeth, telling myself it would be the last pain. Then it would all be okay, just this last pain. I made cuts parallel with the bottom of my hand at first, and then perpendicular cuts, trying my best to slice open the vein. With profusely bleeding wrists, I went to the bathroom and turned on the shower to as hot as I could stand it. I got in with all my clothes on, something I always considered to be the action of someone who has no more hope and simply doesn't care. I didn't care. My baggy denim pants soon became too heavy for me to stand in, and I was getting dizzy, so I plugged the drain and lay down. The water was an interesting shade of rust color, and under it I already looked dead. I stared at my seemingly lifeless limbs for a long time. I don't know the exact amount. It seemed as though my hands and legs and arms were no longer part of me. They simply existed. It was as though they had already died, waiting for the rest of me to catch up. I was so very exhausted. My eyes were heavy, and it was a struggle to keep up with the movements of the world around me, so I just let them drop. I assume I slid farther into the water, though I don't know how long I was inhaling it before I started coughing it all up and regained consciousness. My wrists were barely still bleeding. The water had turned lukewarm. I brought my wrists up out of the water. They still looked dead, and observed how little they bled. I laughed. It struck me as incredibly ironic at the time. Everything after that was a bit of a haze. I remember bandaging my wrists in a robotic, automatic way, and viewing my actions as though I were simply an observer. This couldn't, of course, be me. Afterwards, I fell asleep.